Hi, Brent Haynes with Wood Sound Flutes. I have in my hand a low E flute made out of Oregon myrtle burl. As you can tell, the Oregon myrtle burl is extremely well figured, has all sorts of bird's eye in the wood, and all these lines going this way end up being these little dots and bird's eye. It's extremely figured wood. Very, very beautiful instrument with some African blackwood turquoise on it. And again, this is in the key of low E. Low E, Oregon myrtle burl again. And the song I just played was adapted from The Hobbit. Some of the movies that recently have come out I've really, really enjoyed, The Hobbit being one of them. Another that I really enjoyed was Les Mis. That's just one of those movies and one of those books that I've always tried to measure myself against, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought they did a superb job with that movie. At any rate, the next flute in my hands is made out of cocobolo with corrugata burl. Corrugata burl is from Australia. The cocobolo is from Mexico. And this particular flute is kind of cool because it has this little eye on the shoulder of the cocobolo. To me, it looks like an eagle eye, and I think it's just really, really cool looking. Anyways, this is in the key of mid G. Again, this is a mid-G, cocobolo and corrugata burl, both really wonderful flute woods. You know, some woods are more money than others. They cost more to acquire and also to make flutes out of because they're more difficult on the tooling and whatnot. And there's some woods that are really lovely woods that make great flutes that aren't so expensive, and we're able to do it a little bit lower price, which I think is nice to make them a little bit more affordable, yet really still have a really spectacular instrument. Cherry wood is one of those woods, and this flute in my hand is made out of cherry wood. It has this lovely figurine here on the side, and on the other side it has this really cool sandpiper or duck head right here, which I think is kind of neat. And this has cocobolo trim on it. It has some turquoise as well, obviously. And this is in the key of mid F sharp. again, mid F sharp. And that song that I played is the first song I ever learned how to play on a native style flute. And it is called I Heard Him Come. It was written by a friend of mine's brother. My friend's name is Randy Ball. The person who wrote this, I'm sorry. Randy's a good friend of mine too. But you know, it's really funny. Randy Ball and Jeff Ball are a couple of really good friends. And they share similar names to my friend who wrote that song, or his brother. It's Randy Goodrich, who is my good friend, and his brother Jeff Goodrich, who wrote the song. And so anyways, Jeff Goodrich writes some really fabulous music. If you like spiritual music, he's a really great author. That particular song is about Mary and seeing Christ for the first time after the resurrection. And again, it's I Heard Him Come. And beautiful song. If you're interested in that, in playing that song, I have it tabulated, and it would be happy to send you the tab on that. Just send me an email at brent@woodsounds.com. The next flute that I want to share with you is a mid-A. It's made out of buckeye burl. It has some redwood burl on it, some ebony, and some turquoise. And the buckeye burl is a really fun wood because it looks like stone, yet it's really, really light. And so it makes a really nice flute for someone that's looking for a flute that isn't too heavy to hold, that they're going to be able to play with ease. This particular flute is really nice because it has very small finger holes. And so for someone who has trouble closing the holes and is really working at that, this would be a great flute to have an instrument that plays extremely well and yet is really easy to play. This would be a really fabulous choice. Again, this is in the key of mid-A. Again, key of mid-A, buckeye burl. This is a mid-G. It's made out of olive wood, and it has some ambonia burl on it with some ebony and some turquoise. And if you notice, this olive wood has some really subtle but beautiful curl to it. That's the lines in this wood that come this direction through it. And that curl is really interesting to me because the curl is created when the tree is supporting a lot of weight. So when wood's supporting a lot of weight, it compresses and it bends a little bit. So if this were a tree and supporting all this weight, a great big tree, and down here at the base there's a lot of weight, and so there can be these little ripples you'll see in the base of trees. Those ripples create this curl. They are this curl when you take the wood and work with it. The interesting thing to me about curl is that it's created by stress. So the stress and difficulty that the tree goes through creates this curl and the interest in the wood. But it's harder to work. It's more difficult to make a flute out of out of wood that's curly than out of wood that's not curly. It tends to want to splinter and do different things and weird things, and so it takes more energy to make it into an instrument. However, when you do take a piece of curly wood and turn it into an instrument, you end up with an instrument that's much more beautiful than if there were no curl in it at all. And I like that analogy because it feels right to me in regards to life and how life is. Sometimes life is hard and stressful and it's difficult, and yet we get through it. And if we take that difficulty and take that stress and all those challenges and we just work with them and sand and polish our lives, we end up with something that's far more beautiful than if it had just been smooth sailing all the way along. And so again, this is made out of olive wood. The buffalo on here again is Ambonia burl. Again, all of wood. This flute is in the key of mid G. And all of the instruments that I'm sharing with you today are available currently on my website. They're at www.woodsounds.com. And you can see pictures there and listen to sound files of the flutes and things like that. And if you have any questions, by all means, just give me a call. 801-822-1415 or brent@woodsounds.com. The next instrument I want to share with you, and this is the last instrument of the night, is Vasticola burl in the key of high C. And Vasticola burl is a fairly new wood for us. I just learned about it really this last fall. After all these years, I could hardly believe there's woods that I still don't know. It's really fascinating for me and a great joy to be able to use new woods and hear what they sound like. And Vasticola burl has been a real treat to work with. As you see, it has this rich, beautiful red tone to the wood, and then goes to a golden edge here at the edge, this natural edge of the wood. A lot of people think maybe I carved these natural edges or something like that. I don't. These are truly natural occurring edges in the wood, and that's something that I find really attractive. It has ebony on it and some turquoise, and again, this is in the key of high C. Happy New Year. I hope you have a wonderful and prosperous New Year. We at Wood Sounds would like to thank you for all your support, not just this last year, but throughout the years. We appreciate you and we love you and hope that your lives are filled with music and love throughout the rest of this year.